Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. Before the secrets, before the betrayal, before the broken glass and twisted steel, there was a woman formed of light. Julia Trubkina was not born into this realm of controlled celebrity and created story. She did not show up out of press releases and cosmetics trailers. She came as though summoned by some old yearning in the American television audience. A breath of fire wrapped in vulnerability, honesty, and impetuous truth. She started it, not merely showed up on 90 Day Fiancé. Still, the way her soul started to fade with time was something the cameras could never quite catch. Not at once. No, a woman like Julia extinguishes slowly. It first comes in her eyes, then in her position, in the calm of her laughing then. Once a romance based on audacious decisions and young fire, her marriage started to feel like a cage softly cushioned in silence. The life she had sailed seas for had become ordinary. Her ambitions to dance gave place to housework. Once wild, her spirit now curled like smoke around the long-forgotten recollection of a fire. And there in that silent unraveling, something dark and magnetic started to draw her into its orbit. Florian had no heroic quality. The crowd was not supposed to adore him. He lacked romantic qualities. He was cold. He was a ghost in the machine, a man who seemed always on the brink of disappearing, talked little, and disclosed less. But other women find the way flames are pulled to oxygen intriguing. And Julia, alone, sensed in Florian something raw, hungry for a pulse that would match her own. Something hollowed down and aching exactly like hers. They did not approach each other. Not at first. They traded events, screen time, the odd awkward hug at reunion specials. But time shapes routes where none were intended to be. And shortly the areas they used casually started to reflect something more personally. The looks stayed more drawn in length. The books started to have longer paragraphs. The smiles became involuntary instead of courteous. And that marked the start of the descent. Never once was a confession offered. Not one declaration. Not any great seductions. Just a gradual burn, an ache. In fact, a mirror held up between two shattered people. They discovered one other in the fissures. Not on display but in between. Not in daylight but in parking lots at midnight, in nameless hotel lobbies, in phone calls into the silence of dawn. Not first, it was not sex. It was something far more perilous. Closeness with emotions. Truths expressed without regard to judgment. Unspoken knowledge that none of them could return home the same. Julia had first felt alive in years. Not revered. Not at yet. Nonetheless observed. And Florian started to soften in her presence, for all his coolness. The creases softened. The walls creaked. He was not only Stacy's husband once more. A man indeed. A man desiring. A man breaking in front of me, and in their connection the surroundings began to break apart. That morning should have been quiet. Julie was by herself. Or at least what the cops say. She was racing through her drive. Too hurried. Her hands twitching on the wheel. Her ideas flying in all directions. Had they been engaged in conflict? Had she been withering in tears? She was on her way to him. Alternatively running from the fire they had started? Perhaps none of which we know. What we are aware of is this: metal groaned. Glass detonated. Time paused. Her arm broke as rescuers took her out of the collision. Her skull ached. Her world underwent permanent transformation. And buried in texts unsent in her phone, she feared not say that name aloud. Floral. The hospital was chilly. White walls. Beeping equipment. A silence more than just suffering. The outer world collapsed in anarchy. Spinning tales, tabloids followers speculated. Also Stacy Silva? She spoke nothing. Not a word at all. Silence, however, in our world is never only absence. Calculating it is what I do. That is the inhale preceding the scream. Julia lay under fluorescent lights, attempting to put together not simply the evening of the collision, between sleep and sorrow. Yet the path she followed brought her to it. Was Florian worthwhile? Was he truly real? Alternatively, was he merely a mirror reflecting the loneliness she was too reluctant to call forth? He did not arrive in her worst hour. Not a bloom. Nothing written. Only absence. And quiet caused more damage than shattered bones. Word traveled. Whispers become rage. Julia's marriage? Irreversibly. Florian's questions benevolent under siege. Stacy's quiet broke first with mysterious postings. And then with leaked materials. Then burning. Allegations swirled about. One broke out screenshots into pieces. Like vultures, producers gathered about. And in the middle of it all stood Julia, fragile, disturbed, and now the villain in a drama she never intended to create. Florian said nothing at all. Always Florian, silent, slick, disappearing. Pressing him, he denied the affair. He couldn't, however, ignore the staring eyes. The proximity. The energy. Julia had to withdraw. To mend. To hide. Her face bloated. Her pained body. Her profile in freefall. But she sensed one indisputable fact slinking under her skin even in exile. She had adored him. Even if he hadn't loved her backwise. Time goes by, yet suffering never goes away. Julia is walking once again now. Her arm is under physical rehabilitation. Her brain was still foggy. Her heart softer. She no longer looks to be the star. She posts no more every notion. She no longer believes the silence between looks to be silence. The controversy will fade. The murmurs will change. She will never be quite the same, though, since some crashes do not only cause broken bones. They dispel illusions. They destroy naivete. They release the bits of us buried to survive. The woman Julia Trubkina was no more. And perhaps that is the aim as well, since rebirth is not usually lovely. It occasionally presents itself clothed in treachery. Glass. During fire. Under Florian. And what sprouts out of those ashes is a lady who today understands the price of visibility. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.